Most people know the name Moses, the leader, the lawgiver, the man who stood face to face with God. We've heard of the Red Sea parting, the 10 Commandments, the plagues of Egypt. But have you ever taken a moment to learn about Zipporah, Moses' wife? Her story is one of quiet strength, bold faith, and surprising complexity. So stay with me till the end of this video. You'll walk away with a new appreciation for one of the most fascinating women in the Old Testament. Let's start with the basics. Who was Zipporah? There's a saying, behind every great man, there's a great woman. And in the case of Moses, that may be more true than we realize. While Moses stood before Pharaoh and led Israel out of slavery, Zipporah stood with him in the background, out of sight, but not out of purpose. Zipporah wasn't from Egypt. She wasn't even an Israelite. Moses met her in the land of Midian after fleeing Egypt for killing an Egyptian in defense of a fellow Hebrew. Thinking his actions were secret, Moses was shocked when his own people called him out. Fearing for his life, he escaped into the wilderness, and that's where he found Zipporah. Midian, located in what is now Saudi Arabia and parts of the Sinai Peninsula, became Moses' home for 40 years. There he met Jethro, a Midianite priest who, like Moses, worshipped the one true God. Jethro welcomed Moses into his family, and Moses married one of his 7 daughters, Zipporah. Now here's where things get interesting. Though Zipporah is called a Midianite, Numbers 12 verse 1 refers to her as a Cushite woman, meaning she was of African descent, possibly Ethiopian, Sudanese, or Somali. This has puzzled many scholars. How could she be both? The answer may lie in her heritage. While her father, Jethro, was Semitic, descended from Abraham through Keturah, her mother may have been Cushite. That would make Zipporah biracial, inheriting the skin tone and features of her mother. So yes, Zipporah was likely an African woman, a fact that caused tension later in the story. But more on that in a moment. The name Zipporah itself is rich with meaning. In Aramaic and other Semitic languages, it can mean bird, beautiful, or even morning. It's a name that soars with both grace and depth. She wasn't just Moses' wife. She was his partner in faith and life. Together they had 2 sons, Gershom and Eliezer. Exodus 2 verses 21 and 22 tells us that after Moses married Zipporah, she bore him a son. And he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Later, Eliezer was born, named to commemorate God's protection. The God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. These children were born during Moses' 40-year stay in Midian. And it was during this time that something remarkable happened, an event that often gets overlooked.